Joining us now, Representative Jansen Owen. He is in the Mississippi House of Representatives, of course, represents District 106. That's Lamar and Pearl River Counties. Good morning, Representative Owen. Thanks for coming in today.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
So I got to share this before we get into it. One of my friends on the break texted and said, I'm buying our next lunch. If you can work, go forward, move ahead into the conversation before the show's end. That, of course, the iconic lyrics from the Devo song. We're going to try that. I got to think about how to make that work, but appreciate that. All right, Representative Owen, you guys have been down there at the Capitol cooking up lots of legislation thus far. How's it been going, you think?
We have. It's been on our end of the Capitol at least, it's been a really productive week and a half since we started. So I'm happy to see the work we're doing down there.
I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised, but I would say in a positive way that many of these critical and high-profile issues have already gotten onto the floor in the chambers, right. Received votes. Nothing has been enacted yet, but we got medical marijuana over there in the Senate. You got tax reform in the House. You got 2 bills for teacher pay raises. All right. 3 of those were, I think, high-profile matters expected to be in this session, and so very active.
Yeah, it was. I mean, there's a lot of people walking around the Capitol with whiplash this week. I mean, I haven't seen it move that fast since I've been there, but I've only been there for 2 years now. So yeah. The tax plan, the teacher pay raises, the marijuana in the Senate, those are, the issues that people want us to take on, and I was happy to see in leadership and the other members tackle them first thing.
Yeah, so now, of course, the deal is the medical marijuana bill is going over to the House, or it's there now, I believe. It's my understanding.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
We got the tax reform going over to the Senate, so we're just kind of swapping here.
Swapping around, yeah. I just printed the marijuana bill from the Senate yesterday. It's sitting on my desk.
Okay.
I haven't read it yet. Haven't had time, but hopefully I'll get to that this afternoon. But it's about this thick. Yeah. And it's printed front and back. So,
of course, a lot of that's, and of course, for those of you not watching, right. Representative Owen just used his hands to gesture about 3 inches in thickness right. for this bill. But a lot of that is inclusion, of course, and bring forward other existing statutes, right. which is the process by which our bills are drafted. That's the standard there. So, we'll see what happens, but we just heard the governor on our air in his interview. I believe yesterday he was on with Paul Gallo, and it sounds like he's feeling better about the medical marijuana bill, but still has some concerns, some issues, and specifically I think he made the point that if this truly is for medicinal purposes, we don't presently tax prescriptions in the state of Mississippi. Why would we tax this? Of course, this is not obtained via a prescription.
Right.
There is one distinction there. It is for clinical purposes. So sounds like he still has some heartburn over that.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with the governor on that when it comes to the taxes. I hate that we're taxing. I hate the excise tax that we're putting on it. I don't like that we're taxing it, particularly for the people who are, in the end of life that are wanting to use it. We don't tax medication for those people for a reason. So I share those concerns. I have a couple of other concerns with the earlier drafts of the bill. I think the people want a medical marijuana program. I want to make sure that we're giving them what they have asked for, which is a truly medical program. Mm-hmm. I'll just involve both chambers reading it, passing it, putting amendments on it or whatnot. I'm not sure what the final product will be. I know they'll get a program this session though.
Yeah, seems like it. Seems like we're headed that way. What the governor will do is, we can't speak for him, of course, and even attempting to handicap what his action will be, I think is speculative at best at this point. So we'll see where that lands. All right, so let's turn our attention to something that you're working on, and that is a bill that would reform the state's home-based business laws. Tell us about that.
So right now, with COVID, a lot of people went home to work, and a lot of people started new businesses. Most startups actually start in the home.
Yep.
When I was in law school, my wife helped put us through law school by running an online clothing boutique out of her house. But there are local rules and ordinances that some cities in the state have passed that limits that ability for us to work and for the people to work from their home and exercise their profession from within their home. Like There's one city that says, you can't have more than 20% of your house taken up with your business. That's my house. I want to make money from my home. I don't believe the government should step in and place those unfair limitations. When my wife had her clothing boutique, I promise you, way more than 20% of my house was taken up with women's clothing. It was everywhere.
Sure.
And then there's even some that says you can't do retail sales from the home. So my mother used to do, the Mary Kay parties.
Sure.
So those, in some towns, it's actually illegal for you to have a Mary Kay party at your house and sell Mary Kay makeup from your home because it restricts retail sales altogether. So this bill is aimed at making sure that these local entities can't disrupt, home-based opportunity.
Yeah.
If you want to start a business in your home, as long as of course, the noise ordinances and all of that stuff, would come into play, but they're not going to outright restrict you from being able to exercise the freedom of making money from your house.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're addressing that. I don't think that's a place for government. I don't even really understand the rationale for why we have those laws. Did that had to do with some revenue generating function? I'm sure
it has to do with revenue generating, and it goes back to the cities wanting to control the traffic in an area, maybe the foot traffic, but there are ways you can do that without outright restricting the exercise of your business.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, good. So, all right, what else is on your radar for the session you're tackling?
Well, we just tackled the teacher pay plan. I hope to see that pass. That was a lot of hard work by Representative McCarty and Chairman Bennett, and I think we can get that through in some form. I think it's going to be substantial. I'm excited about that. I have a vaccine mandate bill that I'm pushing. Basically, it says that regardless of what the federal government requirement is, we're not going to mandate the COVID-19 vaccine in K through 12 public schools. The trend continues with the Biden administration of these executive orders, often tied to federal spending, requiring the imposition of mandates. Now, I'm someone who has taken the vaccine, and I encourage my constituents to take the vaccine because I believe it works.
Yeah.
But that's a decision I made for my personal self. It's a decision I made for my family because I thought it was the best thing. There are other considerations that other people want to consider, and I think they have the freedom and they should have the right to make that choice for themselves.
Specifically in K through 12, that's what
this is just K through 12.
Okay.
We would not enforce it if there's a mandate for K through 12 public schools.
Just out of curiosity, are you aware of any school districts now that are presently doing that, mandating vaccines?
There's not that I know of. No school district is mandating vaccines, but this is kind of a preemptive. The Biden administration started with one executive order and then slowly has rolled out more and more requirements.
Yeah.
And there's been some talk about them considering tying it to education funding.
I've heard that.
We have a lot of federal education money flowing through the state as a way to increase the number of vaccinated individuals. So this is kind of a preemptive move to make sure that if that is to occur, we're not going to contribute to that.
Gotcha. Interesting. All right, so let's talk about tax reform.
Love it.
Yeah,
we passed a bill last week. It's an improvement from last session's bill. I think the people want to see the income tax eliminated. Chairman Trade's bill, I believe, is doing a great job at doing that.
Lamar.
We're raising the sales tax to just 8.5%, which is a reduction from last year's bill. We're cutting your grocery tax down to 4%. And we're cutting your car tax by 50%.
Yeah, originally 35%. And then I think the LBO came out with some more optimistic projections and amended that down to, or improved the legislation, I should say.
Improved the legislation.
Yeah, down to 50% on car tags, which that seems to be a major squawk I hear across the state from Mississippians.
A lot of awesome feedback on that. And, that goes towards, there's some criticism that says because we're eliminating the income tax and raising the consumption tax that we're placing a heavier burden on the poor and the retired.
Yeah.
I believe that cutting the grocery tax to 4% and slicing those car tags is going to contribute to making sure that everyone in the state gets a net decrease in their tax burden.
I agree. Sounds like good stuff. Well, we appreciate you coming in today. Really do.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Representative Jansen Owen has been our guest here on Midday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.